awesome!
What's up, y'all? Noons here at Noons Airborne RC. Today's the day we get to go ahead and unveil the Rebel Hot Jet. She's all ready. She's all gonna go ahead and get primed up, and she's maidening tomorrow. If you haven't seen my previous video of me firing up the Sweetwind 60, go ahead and look at that. I also got some build videos for you guys to go ahead and catch back up on. So let's go ahead, further ado, let's go ahead and go do it. And you know, since we always talk about our planes like porn, now's a good time to go ahead and start it off the right way.
Oh yeah!
Hey y'all, Noons here. Welcome back, Noons Airborne RC. Hope you liked the video. I had a little fun with it, making it. Well everybody, here it is, the Rebel Hot from Carf Models. Excuse my air conditioner. We are here in Arizona. It's 102 down where I live, and we usually don't get that hot. Like I was saying, this is the Rebel Hot. It is the smaller guy to the full-size Rebel. Wingspan's 1.5 meters, 59 inches. The length from tail to nose is 65 inches. The weights, the manual says 13 to 14 pounds. Mine, honestly, I don't know. It could be 14, it could be 15. It's designed to run off of a 45N turbine. So basically, that would leave you on the market today. There's very few. King Tech makes a 45. A buddy of mine has one of these that seen flying, and he runs an 80 in it and thinks a bat out of hell. So I'm going to be running the Sweetwind 60. Same turbine that's running in my HSD Viper. I'll have a follow-up video on something a little more about that. I'll keep you guys in the dark. So this should be a perfect pairing. It is a full composite jet. It is from Carf Models. When you purchase this jet, it's the fuselage only. You get the fuse, the hatch, the elevator, obviously you get the wings. They also sell a ARF Plus package. And with the ARF Plus package, it's kind of a deal, because if you were to buy the parts separate, the tailpipe, the landing gear, right? And if you were to buy that separate, along with the fuel tank, you pay $600. If you buy it as the package, you get it for $500, and it's already installed. Now, some good things and bad things with it already being installed. To get to some areas, like the servo wires for back here for the elevator, you'll have to go ahead and remove the tailpipe. I'll show you what to do to go ahead and minimize the work. The side retracts, you have to go ahead and pull out to fish the wires for your ailerons, but that's not too much. But for the Carf package, so the jet right here as it sits was $1,500. With the package right here, it was an extra $500. So it was $2,000 plus shipping. I paid, I believe it was a little over $2,300 shipped here to the house. At the time that I got this, I've had this for about maybe 2 months or so, maybe a little longer. I haven't had too much time to work on it and stuff. This was the last green one that they had in the United States. And not so much with the full-size Rebel, but with the Rebel Hot, it's like a 50-50 shot whether you're going to get a crack right here in the fuselage. And I'll get to that. The reason why is you have these ribs right here. And the top canopy, it has a slot, and there's a slot drived into the rib that almost makes the rib non-existent. And it's pretty much finished work back in China. They didn't have the pin that slides into that little slot, wasn't shaved down enough. So when they put it on and they rammed it, it just popped it out here in the back. I went ahead and I called Carf Models. Now when you get into this stuff, if it's completely destroyed, they'll replace it. If there's a crack that makes it structurally just garbage, they will replace it. But with this being the last green one, and with the crack being only about 1.25 inches long, they told me what to go ahead and do to fix it. So what I did is I went ahead and I laid fiberglass on the inside, and I'll pinch it and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy opened up. It opens up from the front. There is a pin that you pull, and the canopy just goes ahead and you pull up on the front and slide it forward. It locks in with these little locking strips right here, made out of carbon fiber. Alright. I'm running a 60 Newton turbine, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me go ahead and move it on up a little bit and give you guys an overview. So here's the Swiwin 60 turbine that I went ahead and I got from Bad Boys RC. This is the UAT that comes with the package. This is the fuel package. You get a tank and you get the UAT. You have to build this UAT. It's basically a Dubro fuel tank. You have to do all the hosing. I got the pump for the turbine right here. The ESU for the turbine mounted right here. This was completely open right here. So this carbon fiber plate, I went ahead and I built that. Went ahead and got some ply from, some balsa wood, sorry, from Hobby Lobby. And I went ahead and I sandwiched it between two pieces of carbon fiber. Made a nice strong plate and I screwed it in. It gave me room to go ahead and put the brake assembly. The retracts, they're JP retracts and JP brakes, so you get the JP controller. I have a Spectrum AR1231 Zero Tango 12 channel receiver, power safe. I went ahead and I went to this just to make sure that it didn't have any starving servos. And the fuel tank is right underneath here, guys. So let me go ahead and take you guys out of the mount. And show you guys the inside. So right here I'll be using a RC Jetworks 3S3300 LiPo to power the turbine. Here's the front retract. Now when I got this, the front actuator was burnt out and Carf Model sent me a new one, so I replaced that. I am using torque servos all the way around. They recommend 9 to 12 pound servos. They are micro servos. Pro Modeler didn't have any in stock. KSTs didn't have in stock, so I went with the Torque. They're basically rebranded KST servos for Healy Direct. They're great servos, high voltage. There's the tank down there that comes with it. It's cylindrical. It's basically fiberglass. That's all the spider's nest. This switch right here powers the E-Tracks. This powers the electronics and the receiver. So basically, put a Spectrum 2200 receiver battery here and one here. I tie it into the two for the receiver, and I have this right here for the retracts. And I can leave the batteries plugged in and just shut it off when I'm ready to fly. I can go ahead and just turn them on. Again, that's the up close picture of the Spectrum 12 channel receiver. That's the plate I went ahead and I made. I went ahead and I drilled holes and I used grommets to make everything as neat as possible. This is the JP controller. There is one signal wire for the brake and one for the retract, and it is powered by a 2S LiPo. I'm using this flight pack right here to use it. It doesn't draw too many amps, guys, and you're only using it for takeoff and landing, so you're not draining that much off of the battery. You have your 3 track wires and your 2 brake wires right underneath. Here's the Swiwin ECU. Again, what I did is the pump usually has an extension wire, but since I could locate it close together, I went ahead and I just ran it right in. This is running to the engine. It's going down. This guy right here took me about 2 hours to build. I had to, and that's the last time. It took me about 3 days. I rebuilt it a few different ways, and this is the way that it worked for me. The way that it described it in the manual. They did have a wooden carriage. I did not use it. It did set it up higher. So this is what I went ahead and I do, and I reinforced everything that I drilled into here and the slots right here for the Velcro. It is reinforced with wood underneath, so I'm not putting any pressure on the composite material. Here's my fill line. So when you go ahead and you fuel it, you're going to fuel it through here. It's going to fill this all the way up, and once it gets up here, it's going to go right here, and this is the fill valve for the tank, right? It's going to go down to the tank. Once the tank gets full, it's going to go out right here, and it's going to go to the overflow. And right here it has the plug right now, and you basically, when you get to the field, you remove the plug, and I got an overfill tank that I'll be connecting it to here. Go ahead and put that back in there. Remove before flight. And you can, when you fuel it, guys, you can always fuel it and overfill it into the overflow tank and have it sitting here on the wing. So while you're checking your surfaces, your throws, and all that stuff while it's powered on, you're sucking the fuel out of there. So every time you get to the flight line and you unhook out the bottom, you know you got a full tank. All right, guys, back here to the back, I have my shutoff valve from my fuel. Let me backtrack it. So that was for the fuel. And then you have the pump right here. So when the pump engages, it sucks it right out of the middle. There is a filter inside. Goes into the pump through here. And then out the pump down into this shutoff valve right here. Out the shutoff valve and into the turbine. That's the turbine, and that's the pipe that it came in. Now, this pipe is held together by a bracket right up here at the top in the back, and this screw and that screw. Now when you want to run your wires for your elevators and your rudder, you need to get back here, but when you buy this ARF Plus, you already got the tailpipe. So what you do, guys, is my buddy Jeremy, he had to come over, and in 2 minutes, fresh eyes, he told me what to do. Just go ahead and remove that screw and that screw. You're gonna drop the pipe down, and you're gonna go ahead and basically fist pump it and slide it out the back. It's not gonna come all the way out because it's still got its bell on it, but now you got all the room to run your wires. And you can kind of see what I did. I ran my servo wires. I did sheathe them in aluminum tape stuck to the side of the fuselage for some more added protection. Down both sides. Underneath the turbine, and then right about there, I don't have to worry about heat. And I say, well, why don't I have to worry about heat? Well, you have the cable right here and this right here. And this is the way it runs. So if I was worried about heat, this would have melted, and it doesn't. This is just for extra added insurance purposes. That's all. Now, for that crack. I don't know if you guys can see that. Move it out. There it is. See that crack? Well, that's smaller than what it was. When I got it, this thing was opened up. So this is the little slot right here. And this is the tang on the canopy. So this has to be shaved down on both sides to go ahead and match up to this or vice versa. Well, it wasn't. Must have been a Friday plane. So when they rammed the fuselage onto the plane, it split this. So what I did is, after recommendations from CARF models and a lot of advice from people at the local airfield, is fiberglassing, which I never did. So what I did was I was able to push it down and hold it till you can barely, almost not even see it or feel it. And I got some 8-inch binder rubber bands from Staples, and I wrapped the rubber bands all around the fuse. I had 6 of them, and then I used Q-tips on one side to push this side down in to line this up. I had to flip this plane over, guys, upside down and work from underneath. And I'll see if I can get in there, which I don't think I can. So what I had to do is, from underneath here, from behind this rib, I went ahead and I laid a piece of 2 inches, about that long, of fiberglass. And once that dried, I laid another 2-inch wide piece across here. I left it tied up overnight, guys. I let it go and it held. Nice and strong, just like before. Pat myself on the back. Never did that before. Man, I lagged on that so much because I was so worried about jacking it up, but it came out. Alright, get you guys back in here. Alright guys, that's pretty much the skinny of my Rebel Hot, my top secret project. The manual, this is the manual. This is CARF's import. The first one that was made of this was the Purity Rebel, so this is the CARF's version right here. There isn't a manual that comes with it, so CARF was nice enough to go ahead and give you a very 1, 2, 3-page manual on what to do and how to set it up, pretty much. Got 1 page for the setup. This is pretty much your setup right here, guys. And then you got some illustrations to help you guide through the way. One thing that helped me a lot was browsing on the internet and seeing, I looked at the Purity Rebels. Even though the canopy goes on differently, it's pretty much the same plane. With, as you can see with this guy, you have to line up those little keys and this, and then you slide it on. And then you would take this from the front and you lock it up. Where on the Purity Rebel has a pin in the front, and then you just drop the back, and then inside here you have these 2 pins that you slide back to lock it in. Other than that, same jet. Let me see, what else can I tell you guys? I told you about the crack, how to get back behind here. Oh, receivers. I was going to go ahead and run this on a 9-channel, and I went ahead and I really quickly changed. So I have this set up right here, guys. Each servo has its own channel. Each aileron has its own channel, each flap, each elevator, the rudder, even the steering has its own channel. That way, I can go ahead and adjust the steering over here to be dead straight, and I'm not messing around with the rudder. If you watch my build videos, you'll watch how one servo goes in this way on this aileron and that way. And it's very hard to line them up. And then you're playing the game of doing the linkages. Well, if you give one each channel, you can go ahead and use that sub trim and line it up, make everything 90 degrees and straight to each other. Well guys, that's pretty much it. That's the Rebel Hot. The Maiden's happening tomorrow. I'm going to get out to the airfield probably about 5:45, 6 in the morning, do some taxi tests with it and get it ready. My buddy JV, he's going to be the test pilot tomorrow for this thing. He's going to bring it back in one piece, and I got 5 gallons of fuel, and I'm going to get it dialed in. So stay tuned, guys, for a video coming soon with the Maiden. Noon's out.
awesome!